What if the villains of a story were kinda right? In Witch Hat Atelier, the Brimmed Caps wear giant shadowy hats, use forbidden magic, experiment on people, and manipulate children. Every villain checkbox, tick, roll credits. Except Kamomi Shirahama won't let us off that easily, cause the system they're fighting, also rotten. And the deeper you go into the manga, the louder one question gets. Are the Brimmed Caps actually right? Yeah, we're going to dig deeper into that. Now, before we go any further, big spoiler warning, this goes into major manga spoilers beyond what the anime has yet covered, so if you are anime only and want to protect your innocent little unspoiled heart, this is your chance to run. Seriously, put on your own little hat and vanish into the woods. Okay, for everyone still here, let's get messy. Cause the Brimmed Caps sure look villainous. They wear long brimmed hats to hide their faces, they use forbidden magic, they experiment on people, they manipulate events from the shadows. By every normal story rule, they look evil, they are evil. And to be clear, they do some absolutely horrific stuff. We are not pretending they are cute, misunderstood theater kids who just need a hug and better lighting. Nah, to understand the Brimmed Caps, we have to understand what they are rebelling against. Long before Coco's story begins, magic was available to everyone, not just special families, not just chosen people, everyone. Magic in this world is not some mysterious bloodline gift. It is a technique. You draw specific glyphs using special conjuring ink, and boom, magic happens. Which sounds amazing for about 3 seconds until humanity does what humanity always does when handed power without limits. Everything went wrong. Wars, dark rituals, mass destruction, the whole magical free-for-all becomes a disaster buffet. So, in response, a powerful faction of witches takes control and creates what becomes known as the Day of the Pact. And this pact is not some small safety rule like, please don't draw fire spells near curtains. Oh no, this is massive. The Pointed Cap Witches, the official magical authority, hide magic from the wider population. Everyone who once knew how magic worked has that knowledge forcibly removed from their minds. They become what witches now coldly call the unknowing. From that point forward, only recognized witches are legally allowed to practice magic, while outsiders are kept unknowing. The new laws also ban huge categories of spells: healing magic, body-altering magic, attack magic, transformations, mind-affecting spells, all forbidden. But here's the spicy little hypocrisy sandwich. The one body-affecting spell they keep is memory erasure, the exact spell needed to keep the whole system alive. Huh, weird, isn't it? So, when the Brimmed Caps say the Day of the Pact was mass theft, they are not pulling that argument out of a dramatic hat. They are pointing at something real. Knowledge was taken, humanity was lied to, a small group kept magic for themselves and called it protection? Huh. The first point in their favor is simple. The knowledge suppression is indefensible. Coco proves the entire system is built on a lie. She is not born into a witch family. She is not supposed to know magic. She learns by accident from a picture book. That alone cracks the whole official story wide open. If Coco can learn, then magic was never naturally limited to witches. It was limited by secrecy. People don't believe they can use magic because that truth was stolen from them. That is not just safety. That is control. Wearing a nice official robe and pretending it is doing this for the best of humanity. But there is another, much more painful part. Forbidden magic can heal. This is where Witch Hat Atelier gets really mean in the best way, cause healing magic is banned. Not just dangerous healing, not just risky experimental healing, all of it. Magic that could mend bodies, treat disabilities, and relieve suffering is illegal, cause it involves drawing spells on the human body. Now, the official reason is not completely stupid. Body-altering magic can lead to horrific abuse, and the story shows that. So the fear behind that is real. But the Brimmed Caps have a brutal counterpoint. If you have the power to help people, and you choose not to, what does that make you? That brings me to Kusta's. Kusta's legs were crippled after injuries at the Stairway River in episode 7. Magical seals exist that could heal him, but because magic drawn on a body is forbidden, the Pointed Caps did not help him. From their side, this looks like a necessary law. No forbidden magic. But from Custis' side, it looks like people with power watching him suffer and saying, sorry, rules are rules. That is not protection to him. That is indifference. And this is why the manga is so good. It does not just give us a political argument, it gives us a person, an event. It makes the law hurt somebody right in front of us. Show, don't tell, they say. And Witch Hat Atelier does that right? Then there is the Pointed Cap system itself, which has become extremely authoritarian. The Knights Morales are supposed to enforce magical law after the Day of the Pact, but they are not just peacekeepers anymore. They are a surveillance machine. Ateliers can be monitored by so-called watchful eyes. Every witch's magical activity is watched by them, and if someone learns too much, their memories can be erased. At some point, the system stopped asking, what keeps people safe? Instead, all they think about now is, what keeps the pact intact? The Galga and Atward situation shows this in the most painful way. The Knight Galga has his memories erased to near total amnesia by the Brimmed Cap in Ninia. When his lover Atward finds him, Galga does not recognize him at all. That is horrible. But the Assembly's answer is not healing, it is not compassion. Instead, they send Galga to Adenley, the Isle of Oblivion, which means basically removing him from witch society, like sending him into a retirement home. And Atward cannot even legally stay by his side because they are not considered family. The only reason Galga avoids exile is because Atward finds a loophole and takes him as his legal apprentice. But still, yeah, the Brimmed Caps are right about some things. The monopoly on magic knowledge is wrong. The hypocrisy around memory erasure is wrong. The refusal to use healing magic, even when people suffer, is morally ugly. The pointed cap system is built on institutional violence dressed up as order. But now, we have to turn the hat around, because oh boy, the Brimmed Caps are not innocent either. We learned that the Brimmed Caps are not wrong about the system, but being right about injustice does not magically make your methods okay, and their methods are terrifying. Take Igwin, the most important Brimmed Cap, and the one responsible for giving young Coco the picture book filled with magic, including forbidden spells. Those lead to Coco turning her mother to stone. And this was not some sweet little accident, it was calculated. Igwin gave a toddler a dangerous tool, watched the consequences happen, and kept tracking and manipulating her growth as a witch for years. But not only Coco's life was marked by the Brimmed Caps from young age, Kefri's backstory comes in and basically kicks the door open for the moral debate. As a child, he was kidnapped by the Brimmed Caps. They removed his right eye. They implanted a parasitic silverwood tree into his body. They erased his memories. Then they buried him alive in a coffin in the forest of Thristes. Excuse me, what? They buried a child, alive. Bro, luckily he was found barely alive by the Knight Morales and Belderuid, who took him as an apprentice. So yes, the pointed cap system has terrible problems, but the Brimmed Caps, the people claiming to fight control, committed unspeakable violence against a child. That contradiction is not subtle. And then there is Tarta, the young boy from the magic shop who became Coco's friend. His story hurts in a completely different way. He was born with silverwash, a congenital form of color blindness that prevents him from becoming a witch. For him, the system failed again. His disability makes him collect anger, grief, and pain. In chapter 87, the Brimmed Cap Lestis invites him in, and Tarta joins the Brimmed Caps. That moment is tragic because the Brimmed Caps did not create his suffering. They just arrived at exactly the right moment to harvest it. That is the scary part. They know where the cracks are, they know who feels abandoned, and they know how to turn pain into recruitment. So what's the verdict? The Brimmed Caps have justified grievances and unjustifiable methods. That is the cleanest way to say it. They are what happens when a deeply unjust system creates radicals who eventually inherit the same cruel logic they claim to oppose. They are not wrong about knowledge being stolen. They are not wrong about the hypocrisy of banning healing magic while erasing memories is okay. They are not wrong that the pointed cap world is built on violence disguised as safety. But they experiment on children. They manipulate grief. They bury boys alive. That is not revolution. That is oppression wearing a different hat. But therefore, we have Coco. She is the heart of all of this. Coco isn't some random girl caught between two factions. To the Brimmed Caps, she is their project. Igwin and Sassuron call her the Child of Hope. They believe she is the witch who can validate forbidden magic by using it with intention and good purpose. If Coco uses forbidden magic the right way, for the right reasons, she could crack open the closed magical order. She never got to choose her path freely. Igwin put her on it, the picture book, the conjuring ink, her mother turned to stone. Her entire entry into the witch world comes from manipulation. Whether she fully understands it or not, Coco has been shaped by the Brimmed Caps, and yet she refuses them. Even when forbidden magic could save someone she loves, she tries to find another way. She thinks outside the box. That creativity makes her so powerful, and even though conflict has touched everything around her, and she keeps thinking that way, even Coco's pen, handcrafted by Tarta at the Silver Eve Festival, becomes a tragic keepsake after he joins the Brimmed Caps. Every relationship Coco has gets pulled into this war, so which way does she go? Maybe she becomes what the Brimmed Caps want, a witch who uses forbidden magic carefully and forces the world to face its own moral collapse. Maybe she works inside the pointed cap system and tries to change it from within, even if that path is slow and painful. Or maybe she becomes something neither side has managed to create. Not pointed cap, not brimmed cap, something else. A witch who does not ask which faction is right, but instead asks, what should magic be? And that is the real question of Witch Hat Atelier. Who gets to own knowledge? What happens when a small group says, only us? What happens when the people fighting that control become cruel themselves? The Brimmed Caps are probably right about the injustice. They are dangerous in their methods. The pointed caps preserve real safety, but they do it through lies and violence. Neither side is clean. Neither side gives us the easy answer. And Coco, a commoner who should never have found magic at all, is somehow the person both sides believe can change everything. She did not choose to be the key to the future, but she is choosing what kind of witch she wants to become, one painful step at a time. And that is why Witch Hat Atelier is terrifyingly beautiful. It gives us villains who are right about the problem, heroes who are wrong about the solution, and one girl standing in the middle, holding a pen, trying to draw a better world without becoming a monster in the process. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments.